India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to northeastern states of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. On his maiden visit to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, Prime Minister first took an elephant safari in the Mihimuk area of the central Kohora range of the park, followed by a jeep safari within the same range. Kaziranga National Park is famous for one-horned rhinoceros, elephants, wild water buffaloes, swamp deer and tigers are also found in the park. As we told you, the Prime Minister is on a two-day visit to northeastern states of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, and here we see him interact with the security forces at Kaziranga National Park. And also, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. And here we see Prime Minister taking an elephant safari in the Mihimuk area of the park. And also the Prime Minister took a jeep safari within the same range. Also, the Prime Minister was seen feeding sugarcane to elephants named Lakshya, Pradumna and Fulmai. Kaziranga is known for the rhinoceros there, but there are also a large number of elephants along with several other species. Prime Minister Modi urged everyone to visit Kaziranga National Park and experience the unparalleled beauty of its landscapes and the warmth of the people of Assam. On social media, he said, "It is a place where every visit enriches the soul and connects you deeply with the heart of Assam." First female field director of Kaziranga National Park, Sonali Ghosh, felt immense joy as Prime Minister Narendra Modi took the elephant and jeep safari at Assam's Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Prime Minister Modi spent more than 2 hours at this picturesque park interacting with the Van Durga's female frontline forest staff. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spoke to Sonali Ghosh regarding Prime Minister's visit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi just wrapped up his visit to Kaziranga National Park, and to talk about that, I have with me the field director of this place, Sonali Ghosh. Ma'am, PM was here. He met your Durga Vahini, female frontline warriors here. What was he asking about the Durga Vahini, and how the whole thing went?
Thank you so much. I think it was wonderful opportunity for us, especially when the country's own Prime Minister decides to spend a night in Kaziranga and wants to visit and spends 2 hours of his precious and valuable time in a park. That just shows his concern for the wildlife, it shows its concern for communities, and most important, the concern for the forest frontline. He spent a lot of time today with the women frontline. He was extremely impressed with the women. He was amazed that they are so young and yet they are doing the same sort of duties as any other person in the remotest of areas. The discussions that were held with him, he suggested that, how in mission life we are looking at the, overall environment and the health of the environment, and the rivers and the water is something which is very dear to him. And he also suggested to us that how we should be able to take that in our day-to-day lives in this.
Tell us more about this place. How do you see? Do you believe that Kaziranga National Park is a iconic figure when it comes to national level, but after this visit, it will become an international figure?
Absolutely. I think, Honorable Prime Minister sir is a global icon, and now he has come here, he has spent 2 hours here, so he has made Kaziranga a global icon as well. So I think that has been his blessings, his support, which will now take Kaziranga to greater heights for everybody.
Much appreciated time. So that was the field director, Sonali Ghosh, saying that Kaziranga is expected to attain a dizzy height after Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a visit, came here for a safari, and it is also expected to, be internationally renowned after this. With camera person Rahul Chopra, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for GD India from Assam.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate the SAA Tunnel to the nation during his day-long visit to Arunachal Pradesh. Built at a cost of 825 crore rupees, the tunnel has been constructed on the road connecting Tezpur to Tawang, bordering China. The tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity to the region. We get to more in this report.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to embark on a day-long visit to Arunachal Pradesh on 9th March to inaugurate several development projects, including the SAA Tunnel, which will provide all-weather connectivity to Tawang, bordering China. PM Modi will dedicate the tunnel to the nation at a function to be held in West Kameng district. The SAA Tunnel, situated at an elevation of 13,000 feet, will provide all-weather connectivity to Tawang in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. The tunnel is strategically important due to its proximity to the line of actual control.
This tunnel system, both Tunnel 1 and Tunnel 2, ensure that we don't have to climb the pass, and no matter what the weather, we will be able to access Tawang.
The tunnel, located near Sela Pass, was required as the Balipara-Charidwar-Tawang road remains closed for a long period of the year due to snowfall and landslides caused by heavy rainfall.
It was very challenging because of the terrain and the weather conditions. We are at 13,000 feet altitude, and in the year about 3 months is very, very severe winters where the temperatures goes up to -10 to -15 degrees centigrades inside the tunnel. And in the monsoons there is very, very severe rainfall, that is also lasts for about 3 to 4 months. So the 6 months goes in monsoons and the winter season, so we get only about 6 months working time. Notwithstanding, we have worked throughout the year, and we have worked in double shifts of the labor, 8 hours of one shift and 8 hours of another shift.
The tunnel will enhance the Indian Army's capabilities at the LAC by ensuring speedy deployment of troops, weapons and machinery to the forward areas along the Sino-India border.
During construction of tunnel was to ensure that this project gets over in time, and also to ensure that the quality of during the construction of this tunnel is maintained. So starting from the concreting, the lining, the E&M part, and each and everything which is there in a tunnel, that is what was my responsibility, that we monitor it and we ensure that we give the best tunnel to the country.
The foundation of the project was laid by PM Modi in February 2019 with a cost estimation of 697 crore rupees, but work got delayed due to various reasons, including the COVID-19 pandemic. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate the SAA Tunnel in the northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh to the nation today. Now, this all-weather tunnel is strategically very important for the armed forces at 13,000 feet. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo spoke exclusively to Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu at the tunnel.
I'm here at the SAA Tunnel, and I have with me the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh. He is quite a contented person and a happy man because his constituency Tawang would be connected to Bubla. How happy are you, because this was a long-standing project?
Yeah, in fact, we are very much happy. I express my sincere thanks to Honorable Prime Minister on behalf of the people of my constituency, on behalf of the people of Tawang, and on behalf of the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Like SAA Tunnel building here in this kind of an altitude, it was unimaginable. And I also like to express my heartiest thanks and congratulations to the Border Roads organizations. And they have done a very tremendous and a very excellent work here. After coming up of this tunnel, no doubt, the distance between Tawang and West Kameng will be reduced. The travel time will be reduced by 1 hour.
Well, absolutely. And this has got strategic importance for the armed forces as well. So you share a long border with Tibet, China. So what do you have to say on that?
Arunachal, we have a very long border with Tibet, China. So now all the forward villages, which is also known as the first village of our country, all those villages, those who are unconnected, are being connected by by good roads under Vibrant Village programs. Recently, we got more than 1,000 kilometers sanctioned under this program. So now people are quite happy and people are quite satisfied from the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sahab, that how he drives things for the betterment of the people.
One last question, apart from the strategic importance, this is quite a good news for the tourists as well, and Tawang, which has got a lot of potential as far as tourism is concerned. So how important is going to be this tunnel, because it would be a year-round access to Tawang?
Yeah, after coming up of this tunnel, and tomorrow Honorable PM Sir will be inaugurating this tunnel. So once this tunnel is open for the commuters, definitely the quantum of tourists, especially in Tawang sector, is going to increase a lot.
So there you heard the very proud Chief Minister. This tunnel will give a huge impetus not only to the tourism sector of the state but also to the strategic importance as far as the armed forces are concerned. With cameraman Yogesh in Sela, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a visit to Assam and will participate in Viksit Bharat Viksit Northeast program. Prime Minister will unveil the 84 feet high magnificent statue of Lachit Borphukan, the famous general of the Royal Army of the Ahom Kingdom of Assam, who defeated the Mughals. The project also includes the construction of Lachit and Thai Ahom Museum and a 500-seating capacity auditorium. Prime Minister will inaugurate, dedicate to the nation and lay the foundation stone of multiple development projects, strengthening health, oil and gas, rail and housing sectors. During the Women's Day celebration, Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Rani imparted the mantra of Developed India Empowered Women to girl students at the Viksit Bharat Ambassador Nari Shakti Conclave held at Delhi University. Here's a report by DD India correspondent Kriti Vadera.
The Viksit Bharat Nari Shakti Conclave took place at Delhi University, drawing the participation of around 5,000 girl students from different institutions of University of Delhi. Responding to the demand of the students, Minister of Women and Child Development Smriti Rani announced a grant from the Nirbhaya Fund for women hostels in Delhi University during the event.
I think every day is Women's Day. Why should only one day be allotted to us? We strive every day, we aspire every day, we are ambitious every day, we are academically inclined every day, we nurture every day. So any woman, any young girl who's told that your dreams and your aspirations and your ambitions belongs to only one day, that's doing a great disservice to the capacity of Indian women. So every day is Women's Day, so be empowered and help others reach their goals every day.
Many girl students were appointed Viksit Bharat ambassadors with the aim of empowering women in their respective colleges.
It had been a wonderful experience altogether to have amongst us Smriti Rani ma'am. Her words enlightened us a lot.
Engaging with the girl students at the event and inquiring about the significance of Viksit Bharat, Smriti Rani addressed queries from many students. She expressed the collective confidence that India will achieve developed status by 2047, emphasizing the participation of everyone present in this journey. The role of the women will be pivotal in shaping the destiny of Viksit Bharat by 2047. The celebrations at Delhi University of Women's Day were full of excitement and positive energy with the single agenda of making India a developed nation. With camera person Vicky Rajput, I am Kriti Vadera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
Dubai inaugurated the first ever India by the Creek Festival by bringing the vibrant culture of India to Al Seef Park. Now, this three-day celebration highlights the long-standing historical and cultural connections between India and Dubai. This immersive experience promises to solidify the deeply entrenched cultural ties between both the countries, paving the way for a future enriched by artistic expression. On the occasion, Indian ambassador to the UAE, Sanjay Sudhir, said that India and the UAE's relationship has transformed into a comprehensive strategic and economic partnership.
We are one of the strongest partners of each other. And I think in that sense, the role played by the Creek has been something very, very historic. I'm also very glad that Framework has taken this initiative. I know it has taken a little time, but a lot of planning around it. But now that it has started, I'm sure it will be a very important part of the cultural calendar of Dubai. Dubai takes pride in being a hub of culture and brings different elements of culture from across the world to people.
You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, DD India spoke exclusively to the Indian Chief of Naval Command, Admiral R. Hari Kumar, on the commissioning of India's new naval base in the Arabian Sea. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy meets Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan in Istanbul on Friday. In a tragic incident in Texas, National Guard helicopter crashes.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Against the backdrop of evolving geopolitical dynamics, regional challenges and the current volatile maritime security situation in the Indian Ocean region, DD India spoke exclusively to the Indian Chief of Naval Command, Admiral R. Hari Kumar, on the commissioning of India's new naval base in the Arabian Sea and a historic 3-day Naval Commanders Conference which demonstrated twin carrier operations in the Indian Ocean region. Let's listen in.
We are right now on the decks of INS Vikrant, one of the largest ships of the Indian Navy and the biggest example of Make in India initiative and the success of India in this front. And with us we have Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral R. Hari Kumar with us. Sir, it's a privilege to talk to you here on the deck of INS Vikrant. Make in India has become reality now, but as we talk about Make in India, before that we would like to talk about the biggest news of the day. INS Jatayu has been commissioned at the southernmost island of the Western Front. Sir, what is the relevance of the base? What would you like to talk about?
The southernmost island, extent of our land territory on the west coast, of the west coast. So we have had a naval presence there in terms of detachment for quite some time. But we felt that this is now the time has come to commission it as a unit, so that we can further the development of capability in the islands. We have to have better surveillance. We have to have a response capability. We need to know what is happening in this area, who is operating, why they are operating, etc. So by commissioning this unit there, it will increase our capability as well as provide capacity for undertaking various tasks. So that becomes the first step towards further development of the facilities there. There will be a commanding officer, and then administratively it becomes more easy to take forward the developmental activities.
Right. Sir, my second question would be about the massive Naval Commanders Conference. And for the first time, twin carrier-based operations have also been demonstrated. So this is happening for the first time. Several thousand tons of ships have sailed for this Commanders Conference. And it is happening at a time when the Indian Navy has become extremely important. As a resident power, it has exhibited now that how important India's role and Indian Navy's role is in not just in the region but in the world when we talk about the Red Sea, the attacks, the piracy. So sir, what is the relevance of this Naval Commanders Conference? What is the message that the Indian Navy has given through it?
We have been conducting our Commanders Conference away from Delhi since the last year. So last year we had it on board the Vikrant, and this year we have it on board Vikramaditya. So it is for various reasons. One is to move away from Delhi and be with the people in the field because that is where all the activities or the tasks of the Navy are executed. So the Raksha Mantri was kind enough to come down and address us in the Commanders Conference. The CDS was there. So the Navy currently is deployed extensively for anti-piracy operations, anti-drone and anti-missile operations, in the sense to protect our merchant ships, Indian flagged vessels primarily, and any other vessels which seek our assistance. We are there to help them out. The piracy operations we undertook, anti-piracy operations we undertook quite aggressively to ensure that they don't target and create instability in the Indian Ocean region. So that appears to have worked, and it seems to have eased off as of now. We are now supporting the merchant ships which are taking the transit from the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and the vice versa, both eastward as well as westward. We have ships deployed there. So the thing is that we are the largest resident naval power in the Indian Ocean region. So therefore, we have a sense of high sense of responsibility. We need to, because we are there, we have the ability to respond first. Our mission-based deployments have helped us. So when a ship is deployed on mission-based tasks, it can undertake a wide variety of tasks. It is fully ready for combat. At the same time, it can move on to undertake a diplomatic role. It can perform a constabulary role, or it can even perform a humanitarian related role, benign role. So that's the advantage of a combat-ready platform when you deploy it for on a mission-based sort of task.
So my last question would be about Make in India, the future of Indian Navy, and the dream of a developed India by 2047. How is the Indian Navy playing its role? We are here. This is the biggest example of Make in India. We have heard about all the cables that have been used, all the expertise that have gone through in making this INS Vikrant. So what we would like to know about the plans of the Indian Navy as the resident power and as a power that is not reliant on anybody for a dream of a developed India by 2047.
We have given a commitment to our national leadership that by 2047, when the nation becomes a fully developed country, we'll also have Bharatiya Nausena as a fully Atmanirbhar Nausena. So we are working towards that, and as you said, we had progressed from very modest beginnings, long back, to building an aircraft carrier. There are very few countries which can build an aircraft carrier, and here we have about 75% indigenous content, and we are every ship that we make, the percentage is increasing. So the main challenges as of now, if you ask me, it's main propulsion part of it. That is the engines, the gas turbines, the gas turbine generators, 2-3 things like that, which already we have started to make projects on that, and we are confident in about 4-5 years time we should be able to have our own engines. So that is one part of it. The second part, which is also a challenge, is the weapons component. So today we are around 50-55% in terms of the weapons and sensors. So we are now working aggressively towards it to ensure that we are able to have our own weapons, the missile systems, the sensors, long range radars, sonars, etc. of world class. So as of now we have the BrahMos, we have the indigenous torpedoes, etc. So we need to improve the quality to keep pace with the technology that's happening. So this includes also the unmanned systems, unmanned combat aircraft, unmanned underwater vehicles, etc. So a lot of work is happening, and we are confident that we'll be able to do things.
So a fully Atmanirbhar Navy by 2047, when India becomes a developed nation, is the target. And right now we are on the deck of INS Vikrant. This is the ship that has been built in India by Indians for Indians, and as you can see, there are fighter jets here, there are helicopters here, there is world-class equipment, technology that has gone into the making of this ship. And from the decks of INS Vikrant, we just spoke to the Naval Chief Admiral R. Hari Kumar about the future of the Indian Navy, about the ongoing missions of the Indian Navy, along with the plans that it has for a stable and a peaceful region. With camera person Vishwabandhu Goyal, I'm Akshay Dongre, DD India.
In the earlier part of the bulletin, we told you India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to the northeastern states of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Talking of his maiden visit to the UNESCO World Heritage Site Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, Prime Minister took an elephant safari in the Mihimukh area of the central Kohora range of the park. This was followed by a jeep safari within the same range. Kaziranga National Park is famous for one-horned rhinoceros, elephants, wild water buffaloes, swamp deer and tigers are also found in the park. The Prime Minister interacting with the security forces there, and we also saw him feed the animals there. He fed the elephants at the Kaziranga National Park. The Prime Minister was interacting with the Van Durgas also, and the Prime Minister in fact talked of his experience. He urged everyone to visit Kaziranga National Park for its picturesque landscapes, the beauty and the warmth of the people of Assam. And here we see him interacting with the Van Durgas at the Kaziranga National Park. And here we see the Prime Minister take an elephant safari at the park, and he also fed the animals there. He fed 3 elephants sugarcane, and he in fact had an interesting morning at Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. As humanitarian crisis worsens in Gaza with the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, the United States President has warned of danger if fighting in Gaza escalates. The US President said on Friday that it was looking tough for a ceasefire agreement in Gaza by the start of Ramadan on Sunday. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Friday that it was up to Hamas to agree to the ceasefire. The ceasefire would allow more humanitarian aid into Gaza and pave the way for talks on an enduring resolution to the conflict. Israel and Hamas blamed each other for the lack of agreement on a deal. Hamas is required to free hostages that it still holds in exchange for a 40-day truce. Blinken and Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan held discussions on a wide range of issues ranging from security, regional cooperation, trade, energy, among others. For the last couple of months, this is the third meeting between the two leaders. In the meeting, Blinken said that Washington was still pushing for a ceasefire. Canada is going to resume funding to the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency, becoming one of the first international donors to announce such a move. Ottawa paused funding on January 26 after Israel alleged some of the staff at the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, that is UNRWA agency, had been involved in the October 7th Hamas terrorist attacks. A short break ahead on DD India News Hour, but when we come back, French President's political party is launching its European Union election campaign. US presidential election comes into sharper focus this week. We bring you more on this. And in a short while from now, Prime Minister to participate in Viksit Bharat Viksit Northeast program in Itanagar.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights and authentic information.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get to a quick recap of the top stories once again. In a power-packed schedule, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a visit to northeastern states of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, also to visit West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh to inaugurate multiple developmental projects. US President Biden warns of danger if Gaza continues to witness the fight, says it would be tough to secure a ceasefire. Temporary port for Gaza aid to take several weeks. Canada to resume funding for UN aid agency after alleged staff role in Israel's attacks. 15 countries halted future funds after Israel presented evidence of violence by UNRWA staff. And in badminton, world number 1 Indian pair of Satwik-Chirag, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty to play against Korean player KM Yuk and SS Ye. Meanwhile, Lakshya sent to play in the semi-finals of the French Open 2024. The National Guard helicopter assigned to patrol duty along the US-Mexico border crashed in Texas, killing 2 soldiers and a US Border Patrol agent who were aboard and injuring another soldier, military officials said. According to the officials, helicopter went down near Rio Grande City while conducting aerial monitoring and detection operations at the border. The cause of the crash was under investigation. As the latest member of NATO, Sweden says it is ready to share burdens, responsibilities and risks with other allies. Russia has been historically opposed to the military alliance's expansion. Ishan Garg has more from Brussels, where NATO is headquartered.
Well, after 200 years of non-alignment, Sweden has formally become NATO's 32nd member, turning the Baltics into what defense analysts are calling a NATO stronghold. The risk that prompted Sweden to apply for the membership in the first place was actually Russia. Shortly after Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, Sweden and Finland applied for NATO membership. Sweden borders Finland, which shares a 1,340-kilometer border with Russia. Though Sweden's plan to membership was made tough by opposition from member countries Turkey and Hungary, the US says it was always confident that this day would come. NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has congratulated Sweden and says the nation brings with itself a capable army. Sweden spends roughly 1.5% of its GDP on defense and aims to bring it closer to 2% in the next year. Defense analysts say the country doesn't boast of a large army, but it's an advanced and well-equipped one. Sweden's membership could be a major irritant for President Vladimir Putin, though. He has historically opposed NATO's expansion, calling it colonial and evil. But as concerns about Russia boosting its troops along NATO's borders looms large, European nations are focusing on improving their defense capabilities. The Nordic countries recently participated in NATO war games in the High North, and member countries' defense spending is reaching historic highs. While NATO says there's no immediate threat to its members from Russia, it has repeated its commitment to common defense. Article 5 of NATO's charter says an attack on one ally is an attack on all of them. And it's this security common blanket that Sweden will benefit from as the newest member of the bloc after ratification on Thursday. Ishan Garg in Brussels, reporting for DD India.
US presidential election came into sharper focus this week as it became clear November's election will be a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Both men laid out their vision for a second term while attacking the other for ruining the country. Nick Harper gets us more from Washington.
Well, this week was one of the pivotal weeks in the US election calendar. Since the middle of January, states have been picking which candidate they want leading the Democratic and Republican parties in November's presidential election. And this week, Super Tuesday saw the greatest number of states so far, 15 in total, vote in a single day. For the Democrats, Joe Biden won them convincingly, while for the Republicans it was Donald Trump. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley did manage a surprise win in Vermont, but it was only her second primary victory so far and not enough to give her a chance of mounting a serious challenge against her Republican rival. Haley faced facts and the day after Super Tuesday announced that she was suspending her campaign, clearing the path for Trump to become the Republican Party nominee. It means it'll be a rematch of the 2020 election, with Trump facing off against incumbent President Joe Biden. With that clear, Biden used much of his State of the Union speech on Thursday to lay out his plans for a second term in office, starkly contrasting them with what another 4 years of Trump could look like. He accused the former president of bowing down to Russia and heavily criticised him for the attack on the US Capitol on January the 6th, 2021. Trump, in return, on social media, accused Biden of lying like crazy to try and escape accountability. Also this week, the US Supreme Court sided with the former president, saying states did not have the power to exclude him from voting ballots. America's highest court took up the case after Colorado ruled Trump's name should not appear, arguing his actions surrounding the January 6th attack amounted to insurrection, which disqualified him from running for re-election. Meanwhile, on Friday, Trump tightened his grip on the Republican National Committee, as a leadership vote in Houston, Texas, showed that the party voted in his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, for the position of co-chair. There's a suggestion that Trump will now try and get the party to pay his mounting legal fees in the coming months. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
The US Senate approved spending legislation for several government agencies just hours before current funding expires, preventing a partial government shutdown. The Senate approved a $467.5 billion spending package, which will fund agriculture, transportation, housing, energy, veterans and other programs through the end of the fiscal year on September 30th. The package now heads to US President Joe Biden to be signed into a law. The French president's political party is launching its European Union elections campaign on Saturday. Emmanuel Macron chose a little-known politician to head his party's campaign, and a rally for the Renaissance Party will be held in the northern French city of Lille. Ross Cullen gets us more.
Well, this is the Élysée Palace. You can see behind me in central Paris the French presidential office and residence, and Emmanuel Macron will be hoping that his party on Saturday can kickstart its campaign for the European Union elections in June. He has selected 37-year-old Valérie Heyer to be his lead candidate for Renaissance for his party in the European Union elections, and she has a job on her hands if she is to try to claw back some of the electoral advantage that we have seen in France being established and actually being expanded by the National Rally. Now that is the nationalist populist, the far right party, of which Marine Le Pen is the most well-known candidate. They have seen their polling lead well in advance of Emmanuel Macron's party, which was the final party to choose its lead candidate for the elections. The National Rally far right polling at around about 30% or so, well ahead of Emmanuel Macron. And so he has installed a new Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal. He has now installed this new lead candidate for his party, for Renaissance, for June, Valérie Heyer, and she is going to have to try to use perhaps the bounce that Emmanuel Macron might have experienced from liberal and left-wing voters after what happened on Friday when he oversaw the ceremony to enshrine abortion rights into the French constitution. Other policies as well that the Emmanuel Macron administration wants to bring forward that might attract some centrist left-wing voters as well, about potentially bringing in a new law on assisted suicide, agricultural reforms as well. So there is a lot for her to get stuck into, Valérie Heyer, particularly this May aim to try to claw back that advantage that has been established for the European Union election campaign by France's far-right National Rally Party. Ross Cullen in Paris, reporting for DD India.
Pakistan's former president, Asif Ali Zardari, is set to become the 14th president of the country in the election today. The new president would replace the incumbent Dr. Arif Alvi, whose 5-year term ended last year. However, he has continued since the new electoral college was not yet formed. Meanwhile, Mahmood Khan Achakzai, the candidate backed by jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan, demanded the postponement of the elections on the plea that the electoral college was incomplete. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy met Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan on Friday in Istanbul. Erdogan hosted Zelenskyy for talks on the course of the Ukraine-Russia war, the defunct Black Sea grain deal and the increased defense industry cooperation. They also discussed bilateral defense industry cooperation and the release of Ukrainian prisoners of war held by Moscow. Turkey is expected to emphasize its continued strong support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, sovereignty and independence during the visit. After talks with Zelenskyy, Erdogan said that Turkey is ready to host a summit between Ukraine and Russia to end the war and added that Turkey supported Kyiv's territorial integrity.
Since the beginning, we are giving our utmost contribution for the war to end on the basis of negotiations. We are ready to host a peace summit that Russia will attend to. If a will to achieve an agreement between two parties, we are ready to show our support as we have showed it before.
Meanwhile, Zelenskyy said a Russian representative could attend the next meeting after a peace roadmap would be discussed and agreed upon with the Ukrainian allies in Switzerland.
Since the beginning, we are giving our utmost contribution for the war to end on the basis of negotiations. We are ready to host a peace summit that Russia will attend to. If a will to achieve an agreement between two parties, we are ready to show our support as we have showed it before. We do not see Russian representatives at this summit. We do not see how we can invite people that block, destroy and kill everything. We want results. We want just peace for Ukraine. So first, civilized countries of the world will develop a detailed plan, achieve a result, and then involve representatives from Russia, those who are ready for just peace.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy also inspected 2 warships constructed for the country's Navy forces. 2 corvettes, Ivan Vyhovsky and Ivan Mazepe, are being constructed in partnership with Turkey. Germany's Defense Minister Boris Pistorius called for an end to the debate about possible deployment of ground troops from Western countries in Ukraine.
Nobody really wants to have boots on the ground in Ukraine. There's now discussion about that really ongoing, so therefore we should stop it at this point. And the other point, we are talking about long-range missiles. Well, we always emphasize that long-range missiles won't decide that war. And we are talking about missiles which might help at the one or the other point,